Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Shikikan Frontline episode 7. I'll be your host, Tuglow. Today, I got just a few things to cover. It's not going to be anywhere quite the length as a normal podcast. This is just going to cover mainly thoughts, expectations, just overall, just talking about deep dive, our second major event in Girls Frontline. Now, let's go ahead and just get started. First off, with the expectations going into deep dive, as stated on the last podcast, for me personally, it was something that was going to be mainly around the story. Your boy did not know what to expect going in as far as content wise. Was it going to be harder? Was it going to be more easier compared to Arctic Warfare? Also, something that I didn't even think about, would they nerf deep dive for the global EN server? And so going into it, I was like, hey, I read chapter 8 and I was like, yo, I gotta see what's happening next, because the way that they left chapter 8 off, it was just when you're singing and you gotta get that ugly face just to make it hit that good note, and you that's about how they did chapter 8 for me personally. Now, coming back to it, had the story for this, is kind of centered around UMP 45 and UMP 40. Just kind of, I don't want to get too much into it, but the story of it overall was what I was going in for. And let me tell you, I was not disappointed. It was definitely one of the stories that it was just like, it was just something that was just very, very well done. And of course, as with Girls Frontline, the story, this game is definitely a story driven game, even though it does feel or seem as if it takes forever to get the next episode out. It is definitely story based and story driven, and it is something that was just very fun. Now, going into the ranking portion of it, I feel as if I was a little bit more prepared compared to Arctic Warfare. Arctic Warfare was like, I had the units, I had some equipment, but it was like, man, I've never had a ranking event for this game, and it was like, yo, how am I supposed to feel about it? Am I truly prepared, or am I underprepared, with all the things that I had? So going into deep dive, it was like, okay, I know what ranking is like. I know, what it's about. And, after always, dude, and it always seems like this, man, I'm always underestimating what my units can do. This time around, I was just like, man, I'm not going to overestimate them and say that I'm going to, big dick swinging everywhere and have that big dick energy. But, I'll just go in there and say, hey, these units are strong, they can handle what they can handle, and let's just see what happens. And so definitely going into Arctic Warfare was a little bit more paranoid or more nervous. Going into deep dive, it was more, let's get this thing done, see what's going on type of feelings. So definitely the expectations as far as ranking, or the feelings going into ranking for deep dive in Arctic Warfare, were completely different. And it added on to the, I guess, overall fun of the ranking map. Another thing, of course, going into Arctic Warfare, it was definitely something that was more like a, oh man, I got to do this, I got to do it for the podcast. I got, like, it felt as if it was forced onto me to do the ranking event. I think adding on a little bit to the paranoia, and adding on a little bit to the nervousness of ranking, and then turning around this time and having the banter with Dumplings, having a little bit of ranking experience, with Arctic Warfare, and just a bunch of other factors leading up to kind of saying, hey, I got this, we gonna do it up for the ranking event, and going in blind to Arctic Warfare definitely was extremely nervous, extremely paranoid. Going to blind into deep dives ranking, where even though I messed up severely, the score that I got on it was, hey, for my first time for blind ranking, hey, your boy's gonna take it. And so These are the things kind of leading up to deep diving, just kind of the feelings, the roller coaster, I guess, per se, of emotions, and just overall expectations of deep dive going into it, not really knowing the story, not really knowing the maps, not really knowing anything else except for there's going to be some night battles on there, as well as day battles. So definitely something that was very fun. Definitely something that was exciting, and definitely something that was welcoming. Cause let me tell you, I if you get a chance to run the ranking, man, even if you aren't prepared, let's say you got 4 teams, let's say you got 6 teams, preferably of course 6 teams, but let's just say you got some teams, man. Let me tell you, all right, it was incredibly fun. And, I've talked to Diablito about it. He was in my chat, I was in his chat. Let me tell you something. It was like crack, man. I'm talking about, if there was ever some type of drug, I'm telling you that I'm gonna take. Let me get that deep dive ranking. Lord have mercy. It is so incredibly fun. And I've only done it once. Yeah, I think he's done it, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I don't know how many times as of today, but Lord have mercy. It was something incredible. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about deep dive and its dailies. So if we remember, looking back at Arctic Warfare, the dailies that we had to do in chapters 1, 2, and 3, Lord have mercy. Chapter 1, starting off right out the gate. For me, what I did, I don't remember if it was 1, 2, or 1, 1, but I remember you would start at the bottom right hand corner and you could cut straight through. But if you cut straight through, you'd run into a Jupiter that you'd have to kill. We didn't have taunt fairies back at this time, so you'd have to tank it. Even if I'm using a tank like 36C or 45, Lord have mercy, I'd still have to use repairs on just the first one. Not only that, but chapter 3, I didn't even do after I got my second 5-7, just for the sheer fact that whether it was the boss map or whether it was the RNG map, it was not worth it, in my opinion. It was not worth the time to go around and just do chapter 3. So once I got the second 5-7, didn't even bother doing chapter 3. So I was already being a little inefficient on Arctic Warfare. Coming into deep dive though, whoo, Lord, yes sir. Deep dive is a little bit different. Of course, you got multiple places that you could kill the little red beans or the black beans. Of course, the black beans being significantly easier to kill compared to the red ones. And if you do kill the red ones, which I will say this, I've only killed one red bean, and it was on 1-1, and it was that first one on the, you come down, but you could also go to the right. It was the one right there. I've only killed that dude one time, and I almost had it perfectly. I just couldn't retreat all 4 characters at one time. Almost had it though. So I got 3 characters retreated, but I still killed all the red beans. Everything was fine. But the dailies for Arctic Warfare, they are definitely, by all means, they are definitely a chore, because it doesn't feel as if like it's anything fun per se, but it's not anything expensive, and it ain't anything difficult. Because let me tell you, I can run the entirety of my deep dive dailies, and I do not have to use any repair tickets. Just on 3-4 alone, because your boy wanted to give himself the best opportunity to get 5-7. So when I was doing my Arctic Warfare 3-4 dailies, I would do, going all the way to the boss, I would have to spend Lord knows how many, probably 20, let's just say 20 repair tickets on that map alone. Ain't including chapter 2, and we ain't including chapter 1. It was difficult. It was expensive. Your boy went from 650 something repair tickets over in Arctic Warfare down to 3 single digit 3 repair tickets after the entirety of Arctic Warfare. That's including all the possible repair tickets that I could get from the envelopes. Now, taking a look over here, your boy started off at 650 something, dropped down to the lowest I've had so far was about 620 something, and now I think I'm back up to 660 something. So I've gained, and I ain't even opened my crates yet. Hallelujah. Whew. So, if you're saying, hey, what maps do you farm? Now, of course, there are multiple maps that people take. I'm going to just talk about the 2 maps that I personally have ran. So starting off, first map that I've ran was 1-1. Now, the little snipping tool on Windows 10, ain't really got the best of colors. So we're just going to have to deal with what we got. So this is actually the lazier route. Let's say, you watching a stream, or you watching an anime, or you watching something, or you doing something, or you playing something else on your screen. This is definitely something that you just click that bottom one of the 8297, the black bean, and then you click the second black bean. You just click the planning mode 1, 2, call it a day. Then you just have it on the side, because sometimes I don't know why. Let me address this real quick, because this has been bugging me a little bit. I don't know if this is a bug or if it is as intended, but there are times when your screen will just freeze during planning mode, and if you don't catch it, you're just going to be sitting there the entire time until you click it, and then it'll go to the next fight, and then it'll end the fight for you. I don't know if that's a bug. I don't know if that's as intended, like I said, but it is definitely annoying when it's like, hey, bro, I need you to go bloop, 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 and call it a day, And so, aside from the little bug, the little stutter step, if you will, 1-1 to me definitely feels like the laziest. Might take a little bit longer, but like I said, if you're doing something in the background, watching YouTube, watching, streams, watching anime, playing other games, as long as you can keep an eye on it, this is definitely, to me, feels like the lazier route to do your dailies. Also on this map, the 2 little 673 fellas on the right hand side, they actually give you a chance of dropping CZ75 and a few other dolls. So if you ain't got CZ75, by all means go ahead and take that route and do it up. Now I'm gonna address this and say, hey, is she a dupable character? In my opinion, your boy personally is going to dupe her, but not for the fact of, hey, she's super good, or hey, she's this, that, or the other. By all means, she is. And look, I promise you, it feels like every single character in Girls Frontline is somehow gonna be niche, right? Lord have mercy on us. But with CZ75, she is used in the team comp that is going to be the 5 handgun damage dealing team comp. Now, it seems like a meme, it seems like whatever, but the team comp is actually pretty decently strong. So if you would like to dupe her, some people would be like, why? Others would be like, hey, you do you. Personally, I'm a dupe her just for the sheer fact of she's got a few skins. And I've looked at the banners in which her skins fall on. I'm not necessarily going after her skin, all right? But if I get her skin while going for the actual people that I'm going for, I may as well have 2 of them. You know what I'm saying? I may as well have the default in my inventory, and I may as well have the skin in the inventory as well. You see what I'm saying? So that's what your boy is doing with it. I definitely ain't going to invest the data into the second CZ75. The first one I will. By all means, the first one I'll invest the data into it a little later down the road. Once I get, my good dolls and my fairies and things of that nature. But I'm not going to invest into the second one. Also, you're going to say, hey, what's the 5 handgun damage dealing team comp? Don't ask me, because you're asking me questions I don't know. So we just going to have to wait and see. I do know for a fact that it's some dolls that we do not have on the English server as of right now. As of, 5/11/2019. We ain't got them yet. So you ain't got to worry about it. I'll talk about it when we get it. But it's coming down the road, and let's go ahead and move on. So this is going to be 1-1. This is the lazier route. Some days I'll take it, some days I won't. This route, if you do it, you're going to have to do it 25 times because you only got 2 black beans. Going back to Arctic Warfare very quickly. Arctic Warfare, man, I think you had to do it like, what was it? 10 times on chapter 1, 10 times on chapter 2, or 10 times in chapter 3, or maybe 5 times, or however many times. Either which way. Arctic Warfare, Lord have mercy, was... Whew, you got the diversity of content of what you were killing and what you were doing. Whew, but it was expensive and it was difficult. And those dailies, let me tell you, they were not nice and they were not easy. But coming to these ones, this is definitely more on the, I guess, the opposite extreme side. If we had difficult and demanding and just on one side, then we have easy and on the other side. This is definitely going to be that second one when it comes to deep dive dailies, my honest opinion. Moving on to the second place that I can do dailies at, that I have done dailies at, and that is going to be at 1-3. Now, looking at 1-3, it is actually very simple. Actually, let me do this real quick. Going back to 1-1. The minimum that you can clear it with, or that I've used to clear it with, I could be wrong, it could be like an X4 unit, I don't know. But I've used an X5 handgun. Now, specifically a handgun because it is relatively cheaper on your manpower to, summon the handgun, and it's just going to be a little bit easier for you. Put them in, if you go 7, 8, 9, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, put them in slot 1, and then just roll through it. Very, very cheap for me on this daily. Now going to 1-3 for, I believe what the quote unquote requirement or whatever it is that I've used is going to be an X5 AR, an X5 assault rifle. I believe KK Shamman, he named off a few of them. Whether you have AR-15, M4, 95, 97, G11. Basically, I think what he was saying was is if they have a low initial cooldown, then they can definitely get it done for you. So when you come into here, and I was using, I do use a G11. When you come into here, you throw it onto the command post, you hit planning mode, and all you got to do is hit that second black bean, the top black bean that's sitting on the heliport. If you hit planning mode, hit that top one on the heliport, and then you click finish. You'll say, well, hey, isn't it not, I'm still going to have to scroll up, or I'm still going to have to do whatever. Now, see, you can make it a little bit lazier, a little bit more efficient. Not inefficient, efficient this time. You get to be lazy and efficient. Hallelujah. Yes, sir. So you click that planning mode, you click that top black bean, and the camera, when you move upwards, it'll actually center it upwards, so you don't even got to move the camera. Set your other handgun, your little one dummy link handgun on that command post, retreat here, bada bing, bada boom. Ain't got to do anything else. You don't got to do the switching motion, so it's actually extremely very nice. And so this one is not as lazy as 1-1, but it feels much quicker when it comes to getting your dailies done. So if you just want to, blast some tunes, or, you got some in the background, a little 10-minute, 15-minute video in the background, and you just knock this sucker out, you can be done with your 50 crates relatively quickly. And so these are the two little routes that I take. Depending on how I'm feeling, am I lazy today? Okay, let me hit up 1-1. Or hey, am I feeling like knocking it out today? Just get it done real quickly. All right, bet I'm gonna hit up 1-3 for my dailies. Now these dailies, like I said, and will always say, comparing it to Arctic Warfare, are so much easier. You could say that it's brain dead. You could say that it's a chore and it takes too long to kill 50 and yada 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 yada. But I mean, look, let me give you a little example. I was gonna eat a little fish sandwich that mom had brought home. All right, and let me tell you this example, and this is gonna be about life. It's gonna be about GFL. It's gonna be about everything. All right, God bless. I give this one to you for free. All right, so I got my little fish sandwich. Warm it up in a microwave, come back out, got my fish sandwich. My mom's looking at me. She said, you ain't gonna put nothing on your fish sandwich? So you ain't gonna put no type of sauce, no type of nothing. You just gonna eat it like that. I said, that was the plan. Yes, ma'am. And she's like, helps. And I said, okay, well, what do you want me to put on it? And so she's like, man, you could have put ketchup, you could have put some tartar sauce, you could have put, you know, we got a little sauce that we make, you know, ketchup, tartar sauce, and hot sauce. You mix it all together and you put it on the fish sandwich. She said, you ain't gonna make none of the sauce. And I said, okay, you know, I'll put some ketchup on it. So I put some ketchup on it. And then you know what she said after that? That's all you gonna put on there? Excuse me, I'm the one eating it. Why does it matter? So whether I didn't have the sauce, she said something, or if I did put some type of sauce on there, she was gonna say something. So it don't matter what people say or what you gotta do or what you wanna do. You just do what you wanna do and call it a day, you know, as long as it ain't gonna hurt nobody or anything like that. But the point of the story is it don't matter what map you run, as long as you get her done, hey, it's all fine and dandy. And let me tell you something. It can be as brain dead as Resident Sleeper as it can be. But I will gladly take this over having to use all the repairs, having to just take an hour plus. Hey, Dumplings, I remember that man. He would go through and do chapter 3. He'd take, you know, relatively an hour plus just trying to finish up chapter 3. Hey, we could complain about that. We could complain about this, but let me tell you, I'd rather be having this little Resident Sleeper, yada, 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 instead of that one over there. So, hey, you can have no sauce or sauce, but either which way, I'm going to take the easiest route out. And so, give me deep dive dailies and a day of the week. Hallelujah. Yes, sir. Okay. Now, get done preaching, Pastor Dumplings. Pastor Dumplings said that I could have a Wednesday night sermon, you know what I'm saying? So here we go. You know, I had to give it to y'all for free. You're welcome. Deacon Tuglow at your service. The Dumplings Recipe Religion. Yes. Yes, sir. Hallelujah. Okay. Going in to the next thing. Now, of course, by no means are these the only teams that you can use. And by no means is this the characters that you have to use, that if you don't have them, you ain't going to be able to complete it. No. This is just the team that I personally use to help me clear Deep Dive's story. And I do want to share with you one team. Now, of course, you're going to look at this team and you'll say, Tug, something ain't right with this, fella. Something ain't right with this. And to that, I would say you are 100% correct. This is not your ordinary team. It's not your meta-based team, things of that nature. Going into going into Deep Dive, clearing the story, we do have day missions and night missions. Now, I think somebody came onto the channel, onto the stream, and they were like, hey, Tug, I don't have the best of units. I don't have all these different things. Can you make me a team to help clear through chapter 2? Because, hey, hallelujah, we all trying to get DSR. Woo! Hallelujah, testify. Amen, brother. Amen, sister. We trying to get that DSR. And, of course, we are just trying to clear the story for at least chapter 2 to get all the characters, especially if you're a collector. So he was like, hey, can you help me create a team? And boy, let me tell you, my man's I don't think he had he had 2 X5 units. And I think it was the UMP girls, UMP 9 and 45. And I was like, man. I told him, I said, look, these teams are going to be ugly. They're going to be mixed. They're going to be, they ain't going to be meta. But I guarantee you that it'll get the job done. And boy, he came in and he was like, man, he was asking me questions. Why ain't you doing this? Why ain't you doing that? You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, bro, I promise you, just go in there, do your thing, try the team out, and it'll get the job done. So this wasn't the exact team, but this is a team that I would create, low budget. I didn't want to throw every 5-star I got in here and just say, hey, blah, 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 good luck. But, taking a look at this, having 36C, an SMG for your main tank, that would be fantastic. Now, I'm assuming you ain't got no shotgun, but if you have a shotgun, you could do that too. I just like 36C. I like Thompson. I like MP5 for the invulnerability. I highly value, and man, if you've seen the stream, you've seen some videos, your boy highly values having invulnerability. So definitely 36C is always going to be one of my main tanks. I got 2 of them. So I'm committed at this point. So we got 36C. She's going to be sitting in slot 5. Like I said, 7, 8, 9 is the top. 4, 5, 6 is the middle. excuse me, and then 123 is going to be the bottom. 36C is going to be sitting at 5. Then I'm going to have Satmod. Now, Satmod, I like to have her, I'm going to sit her at 7 because I have Contender at 8. Contender is going to be buffing both Satmod and M14. So M14, she's going to be the one that's going to take care of whether it be my armored units or whether it be my, whatever that's going to deal with armor, okay? Now I'm going to have Satmod to deal with any type of AoE. So if we got a lot of non-armored units and they coming in huge packs and waves, I'm going to take care of the AoE with Satmod, okay? Now with AR-15, she's just going to be my steady, consistent damage, whether it's against armored units, whether it's against non-armored units, whether she needs her crit scope or a PEQ. Definitely, she's just going to be there to have consistently solid damage output for me. Now with Contender, of course, it does not have to be Contender. You can use a Well Rod, you can use the MK23, you can use blah 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 blah. But by all means, this is going to be more towards a nighttime team because I do have M14 here, right? If I didn't have M14 and let's say this was going to be a day mission, I could switch out the rifle for a machine gun, just to give me a little bit of extra oomph. I'm not gonna hit with that hand. Give me a little bit of extra oomph. I got a ring on this hand, so I could definitely do that. But the general thing that I'm trying to knock out, if you see, I'm talking about the overarching job, if you will, of each unit, right? I have a tank in my SMG or a shotgun. I have an AoE damage dealer with my Grenadier. Hell, you could use 416. You could use FAL. Let me tell you this. FAL, as far as efficiency is concerned on 0-2, is not the best. Because, she's got to shoot out 3 nades. And if she's sitting here with her 3 grenades, that's less time that dummy link is actually with her gun. You see what I'm saying? So that's where the inefficiency comes in. But let me tell you something. You get them triple nades on a lot of mobs or anything that where you're full resupplying your team and you got to kill everything. FAL. I'm not going to say skyrockets. Her value, her stock definitely increases, in my opinion. So you get someone like FAL, you get someone like, 416, Satmod, Grenadier, man, where you're getting a lot of AoE. Okay, that's the second thing that I want to cover. Then, if you need, excuse me, if you need a handgun for the night missions, by all means, get you someone who's going to do you good, baby. Get you someone who's going to either buff you up really well or get you someone who's going to, just dick the other team down. Whether it's Well Rod, debuffing their, accuracy or their rate of fire or, get you some type of good debuff, okay? Now, let's say you don't need a handgun. You could actually go grab a second SMG, grab a shotgun, or you could just go even more into damage, whatever suits, whatever suits you, whatever floats your boat, okay? So then with the AR-15, okay, I'm just looking for consistency in damage, man. M4A1, AR-15, give me G41, G36, give me 95, 97. Give me somebody who's just going to give me consistency in damage that I don't have to worry about, oh man, their nade isn't here yet. They can't do their fat damage and they can't contribute or they can't do this because they're waiting on their skill to, pop off and hit them with a charge shot, right? I want to have a consistent damage dealer, in one of my units. So we've already got 4 of the units covered, right? So now you're thinking for your 5th unit, it could literally be anything you want, man. If you want to have cover your bases for armored units, man, it could be rifles, it could be, machine guns, whatever, man. Just cover all your bases, for going into it blind. Now, of course, if you're not going into it blind, then okay, yeah, go make your teams and get on out of here. But this is just for me going into it blind, going into it mixed teams, because hey, mixed teams is coming. I'm gonna start preaching it now. I started preaching it in Arctic Warfare. Dumplings knows because me and this man have had multiple conversations of saying, "Hey, excuse me." Pastor Dumplings knows we've had multiple conversations where he doesn't believe that mixed teams are a thing because he doesn't watch KR streams, and I'm like, "Hey, brother, trust me, they're a thing. They are coming." And so, I'm gonna just start preaching that now. But mixed teams will be a thing, all right. And so I'm just trying to dilly dally and play around and see what I can do and kind of try to understand the fundamental of the unit and how they can all mesh together. Now, by all means, I'm sure that I can make a better team that is mixed than this, but for trying to be low budget, low rarity, whatever. I know I got like probably 2 unicorns in here. I could have done better, but the fact remains, trying to cover all my bases is gonna be good for any mixed teams going into the story. And like I said, if you take that little cookie cutter, give me a tank, give me an AoE damage dealer, give me a consistent damage dealer, give me a handgun if I need it for the night mission or the night battle, and then give me someone to deal with armored units. If you're having trouble with Chapter 2, you're relatively new to the game, that little formula right there will get you through. It will get you through Chapter 2. Now, if you need 2 teams, and you got only one strong team leveled up, and you only got maybe some level 30s and 40s, you're gonna have to mix your teams over. You're gonna have whether the strong tanks are here with the weak damage dealers here, or some weak tanks here but big damage dealers. You're gonna have to mix and match it, but you get the point. I think that little formula is gonna be good. Now, is it meta? Hell no. Is it accepted? Probably not. Do I care? Hell no, because at the end of the day, it's gonna get the job done. All right, it's like the sauce thing. Okay, so then, last but not least, taking a look at the fairy, Illumination fairy. Hallelujah. Okay, look, let me tell you this: if you ain't got no Illumination fairy, I think the way that I've gotten most of my fairies was 2,000, 500, 2,000, 1,000. That is a personal favorite of mine. Now, I don't know if that's against the dumplings recipe of religion, and if it is, I'm gonna have to apologize, but that is a personal favorite of mine. It's gotten me 5 parachute fairies and all the other fairies that I have. But I will say this: the Illumination fairy, I believe, starts popping off at skill 4. It's either 3 or 4. If you do not have them, go ahead and start leveling them. Singularity is gonna be nighttime, and I'm just telling you, hey. I'm telling you this right now. People were like, "Oh, you're using an Illumination fairy. You're basically cheating." Hey, nah, fam. Hey, I'm using the resources that's available to me. All right, so if you ain't got the Illumination fairy, by all means, please, Lord have mercy. It'll make your night battles so much easier, and it'll just top you off and just call it a day. Make it extremely easy for you. On top of that, I think the buffs are relatively decent on it. I don't think they're the best by any means, but definitely for night missions, the Illumination fairy was the choice for me, clearing through the story of Deep Dive. Now, let me tell you this. I went on a little bit long with that, but Lord, let me tell you, I love talking about mixed teams. I love talking about team compositions, and I love talking about theory crafting when it comes to teams. So, hey, if you got some off-meta teams, or you got some wacky teams, but they getting the job done, send them my way. Let me know on Discord. Let me know in the YouTube comment sections for when I post this, or let me know during stream, because let me tell you, I want to be able to get to a point to where it's like, hey, I'm going into every event blind. I don't care. I'm going to go into it blind the first time around. And if I have more knowledge of how to create a stronger, fundamentally stronger, mixed team, then I would love to do that. Because let me tell you something. When I was talking to Frog June, I talked to Frog June, and he told me, he goes, look, Nyangi says making these teams, man, but she's using very specific teams. It ain't something that you just turn around and just pick and call it a day. He goes, Tug, I cannot use mixed teams on my own without somebody telling me the exact people to use, because it is rocket science. Not only is it what the units themselves do, but it also has to take into consideration how do they mesh together. And I said, what do you mean? Meshing together units that don't buff each other to still make them do very good damage and good work. Do you know how difficult that is. It is extremely tough. And so I said, okay, we ain't got the units. We definitely ain't got the units, but it's definitely something that I'm going to sit here and start trying to do. And let me tell you, most of the mixed teams that I've used have had success. I've been able to clear it. Now, when it comes to bosses, bosses, I've learned that some bosses you can't really use a mixed team on because you gotta kite with your units, okay? And so you might want to be careful on that, but I'll let you experience that one for yourself. So let's go in and now that we know one team to use, let's go ahead and go into clearing what, in my opinion, what I've heard the most difficulty about in Deep Dive Story. And if you haven't seen the YouTube videos, definitely check out the channel. It's pretty clear. Hey, this is how I cleared chapter 2-4. This is how I cleared chapter 3-4 for Deep Dive. If you ain't seen the videos, exclamation point YT in the Twitch chat, and if you're watching on YouTube, check those out because I go way more in depth on those, and I actually play through every 2-4 and 3-4 and kind of give you pointers and tell you what I'm doing and things of that nature. So this is just going to be a relatively slapdick, more or less, explanation of it, but we're going to get the job done on it. Okay. So taking a look at 2-4. Basically, this is the map where we have to take the person who needs rescuing. So we're going to take that person and we're going to basically evacuate them at one of two heliports. You're going to have the top heliport and you're going to have the heliport down on the bottom down yonder. Okay, now let me tell you the reason why I have the top side mapped out in blue and I have nothing on the bottom side. And I do this in the video, of course. I actually take a skill 10 Illumination Fairy and I show you the differences in mobs that I've seen and I've faced multiple times. If I take the top route, I do not have to fight any red beans. There is only one red bean on the entirety of the top route. The rest of the top route consists of, I believe you had in the very top left-hand corner, you have a dog, a boss dog. Then you have one boss dog that's to the left of the top heliport, and then there's a potential of having a boss dog a little bit towards the bottom side of that heliport in the top side. So you have boss dogs, you got scouts, and that's about it. You got one red bean. I've never had to deal with two red beans. I've never had to reset, and I've never had to get trapped to where I can't escape with the rescuee. So going to the top side was definitely much easier for me. Now, of course, you got people saying, well, what if I only got one team? Well, if you got one team, go ahead and bring out 3 teams. You're going to have one handgun on both. Run that one handgun sucker into the red bean and just continue forward. So now, hey, make it easy, man. Think outside the box. You see what I'm saying? But I believe there is a route. If you go onto the bottom side, you could do it with one team. Don't ask me the route. I didn't take it because when I showed the bottom side, red bean. Hey, it wasn't the Red Sea. It was a Red Sea of red beans, man. I'm telling you, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. There's so many red beans down yonder. I wasn't even finna deal with it. You see what I'm saying? And so you can take the bottom side. Nuh-uh. Because let me tell you, Primus, that man was trolling me. He goes, hey, Tug, take the bottom side. I popped that Illumination Fairy. Over half of the mobs that are the landings or the nodes that I could see were filled with red beans. And I looked at him and I said, are you crazy? You trolling me? You scuff? You ugly? And I was like, nah. So I said, let me see what the top side offers. And every route that I have marked with the blue, if it's difficult to see, my apologies. Every route that I have marked in blue is a potential route that I had to take in order to avoid the red bean. The only thing that I'm going to say is be careful because the red bean on that top side actually has a lot of ways to get to you because things are so closely connected that if you don't end your turn on a right move, it might run into you. So just take your time doing it. You don't have to speed run it, anything like that. But it is definitely, I prefer the top route by all means. You don't need an Illumination Fairy to do it. That's why I said you can run your 3 teams and you can just send one to scout, send one to, get dicked by the red bean, and then run the other two around and call it a day. So this is going to be the quick little slapdick explanation for 2-4. Now, this is going to be ugly, all right? This map was just too big, all right? 3-4. All right, hey, I tried. Look, your boy, hey, you can hate on me all you want. I tried my best, but hey, we just gonna have to work with what we got. God bless. All right, so this is the entirety of 3-4. Of course, it's not the same size, but you're gonna get the point. Okay, so I'm gonna give you all the 3 tips that I gave in the video, but definitely check out the video as well. It'll help me out a lot. So taking a look at 3-4, we're going to start down at the middle, and we're only going to have 2 teams to deploy. Looking at 3-4, we have 4 people that we can rescue, but we only need to rescue 2 of them. So we're going to say, hey, which 2 do we rescue? Now you can go into it blind and figure it out yourself, or you can just say, hey, this is how we're going to roll. If you have to rescue on the right side, send a team that can deal with non-armored units. If you're going to the left side, which you will have to go to the left side, send a team that can deal against the dog boss and armored units. Now, this is a prime time example of where a mixed team came in clutch for me. Now, I think my mixed team looked something like, what was it, man? 2 handguns, a machine gun, and no, 3 handguns, a machine gun, and a nighttime AR. I think it was 9A91. That's something relatively, what it looked like. Now, going to kill the dog boss, deal with it. It'd be all right. That's the first thing that I want to talk about, is splitting the map. So if you know how to split the map, armored on the left, non-armored on the right, you'll be fine on that. Okay. The second thing that I want to talk about is capping as many heliports as you can to give yourself more movement spaces. If you ain't capping heliports, or they are taking your heliports quicker than you're moving around the map, you ain't gonna make it. I'm gonna just tell you that you ain't gonna make it. It's impossible. And if it is possible for you, then you lucked out. All right. So this is gonna be without Illumination Fairy, because I'm just gonna assume you ain't got one. So I have 4 spots marked in red on this entirety of the picture. If any of those spots turn red, 3 spots are gonna turn red. You're gonna avoid 2 of the 3 red spots. Okay. Now, if you are so unlucky that both of the sides on the left light up in red that I have marked, you gonna focus the right side that does not have a red spot marked. Okay. So let's say your 2 left sides are marked red and your top right hand side is marked red. You're gonna clear a little bit of the left side, and then you're gonna rush the bottom right, because it ain't got nothing down there. So you're gonna rush the bottom right, and you're gonna head straight up. Then you're going to have vision, and you're going to have a lot of moves, because don't forget, you have a lot of heliports. You're going to have a lot of moves ready to see, hey, the dog is in the top or the dog is in the bottom. I'm going to go chase after him. And you're going to go chase that dog, and you're going to knock him out. All right, then you're going to head back up, and then now you're going to meet at the ring around the rosy. So if you have 2 on the left, you're going to take the right side first. If you got 2 on the right, you know immediately you can head to the left, okay? Because we already know the dog is going to stay in the left, and if you have an empty one in either of the other spots, just head left and call it a day. So that's how you're going to be able to read where the red beans are located at. All right, so it is very, very much possible to read it. RNG involved in it doesn't even matter, as long as you just notice which ones are getting colored in red, because that's where the red bean is going to be at, and call it a day and just move on. As far as the Gaia fight, I think it's Gaia, I don't know how to say her name. As far as the boss fight for this map, I I could give you like hints, but I'd rather let you experience it yourself. But if I must give you hints, let me say this: using your non-armored team, or yeah, using your non-armored team that's supposed to go to the right side. That's the team that I would use to kill a boss, because you are gonna have to move some units around, so that way you just don't get 100% booty blasted. I mean, unless you just want to get booty blasted, hey, that's fine by all means. But yeah, use that team instead of your armored team. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Also, if your units die against the boss fight, don't forget you don't lose affection. I forgot that. All right, and I told myself you don't lose affection. So those are the two little tips that I'm gonna give to you on that one. I'm gonna let you figure out the rest. And of course, I mean, I got a video on YouTube telling you a little bit about it. Multiple sources, multiple different guides that'll tell you, more budget things that you can use. Hey, do it up, baby. You got this. It's definitely easy. Okay, I shouldn't say definitely easy, but it's relatively easy. Also, of course, you can only use 2 teams on this, so it'd be like that. You definitely can clear it by all means, if you can make it there, in my opinion. So the next thing that I want to talk about is actually gonna be one of the maps that I did not want to cover, but I just want to talk about it briefly, because this map was actually the hardest map, and after I did it once, I never went back to it again, because I don't even want to think about how I'd have to clear it without just being extremely freaking lucky. And that is going to be, I think it was 3-2. 3-2 is where you can actually farm exos, and that's where I farmed exos at. There are different ways that you can do it, but you can find a way to do it and do whatever, do it how you have your team, right? So the way that 3-2 works is you start off in the middle, and you have the forced arrows that you can't go this way. If the arrow is pointing this way, you can't move this way, okay? And so it has these forced arrows, and then you've got this top side of the map, this top left-hand corner, and then you've got this whole like right side swinging to the left bottom. Okay, so you've got your middle portion, you've got your like top left portion, and then you've got your right swung to the left bottom portion. Okay, and so you have this entirety, and I'm gonna tell you this, I didn't understand what was going on, but basically you have to get to this bottom left corner, and you have to create a supply line all the way to the top. Okay, it sounds easy. Okay, but the problem here is that in this middle part you have these like red beans chasing after you. Okay, now thankfully my first time I cleared it because I had parachute fairies, and you boy, hey, yeah, I'm gonna use the resources. Yeah, I got parachute fairies. Get off of me. Yeah. So I was able to use the parachute fairies to help me out a little bit and reset without having to reset completely. So use the parachute fairies, and then you got the mobs, you got the red beans going around in the middle, so they can actually cut off your supply line. Okay, you got to hold it out for 3 turns, and they can cut your supply line. Okay, then on top of that, you have a little enemy node to the left of this middle part. It can spawn, bad guys, and they can go into here and mess up your supply line. And it's like, bro, I'm going to tell you this. That was probably the biggest brain, like, luckiest break that I was able to catch as far as, RNG was concerned for the story. But 3-2, look, let me tell you, I ain't finna say no guide. I ain't finna give you help on it or nothing. Because let me tell you, I did that once to complete the story, and then I just went straight to it for exo farming. I ain't finna talk. Nope. Hey, let me tell you something. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And let me tell you, your boy Luck sacked that run hella hard. Hella hard. All right? I didn't want to talk about it, but 3-2, let me tell you, that map was so freaking hard and so like as far as like being lucky was concerned to like clear it, it was the most fun map out of the entirety of Deep Dive. Just that one map being so difficult and so fun, that was definitely my favorite map. to clear it. Now, if you have cleared all of Deep Dive, let me know what your favorite map was. But for me, 3-2, by all means, probably the hardest one for me. Takes the cake. It was definitely a lot of fun for me. So, now that we've talked about the story, a few of the difficulties for Deep Dive and the story and things of that nature. I don't even remember what I just said, so, ignore that. Anyways, now that we've talked about the story and getting through the story, some of the difficult maps and the fun maps, things of that, let's go ahead and talk about ranking. Now, I've only ran ranking one time. And let me tell you something, all right? I believe I did not do mixed teams. And if I did, it wouldn't be pure mix. It would be like a standard AR SMG comp, but instead of 3 ARs, I might have a machine gun, or I might have a rifle. So I'd have like 2 ARs, 2 SMGs, and a rifle or a machine gun. It wouldn't be purely mixed, but it would definitely be something that was like, hey, it ain't normal. Okay, and we're going to go with that. Excuse me. Lord have mercy. So, all right. Wrong pipe. So, I've only done the ranking map once. I do not claim to be an expert. I ain't got no guide for it. Your boy went in blind. I messed up severely and still made a decent score coming out of it. So, let me tell you what I think are definitely going to be teams that I'm going to use. If not, these specific characters, because, of course, I just didn't want to, have a little show and tell. But, I do want to try to give a little bit of value coming into and talking about the ranking map, okay? So, first team, by all means, is got to be the Watch On SVD team. Okay, so Watch On and SVD both increase their rate of fire, and you want to buff them with damage increasing buffers for your handguns. So I took a look at Grizzly, took a look at MK23, and I took a look at Wellrod. Okay, so I had Watch On at 7, SVD at 1, Grizzly at 4, Wellrod at 5, and then MK23 at 8. Now, the reason why that I say that I really think you're going to have a team like this or something similar to it is because the first few turns weren't really many armored mobs. I don't know when it happened, but armored mobs came in. And then I was like, oh man, yo, these armored mobs. And then I'd fight them. Oh, they were relatively easy. Never mind. We straight. And then the Fire Nation attacked. And I don't know what happened, bro. I'm speechless. Alright. I don't know what happened. What? Dude. What? Imagine having a team of manticores, multiple manticores, and they ain't bunched up like this, so where you can just kite them off really easily, and then, by the time they get to, your final spot, they're dead. No. Imagine having a row of manticores here, and then a row of manticores here, and now you gotta kill them off really quickly, and then you got the second wave coming in real fast. Not only did you have manticores, you had the little dudes that are like little cannons that'll sit down and they'll charge up the little blue beam and then boom and then hit you. Okay, then you had the dudes that sit there and poke you, and then you had the little tarantulas that would come in and come after you. Let me tell you something. All right, it was awesome, but it was hard. Okay, it was awesome. I had so much fun with, dude. It was awesome. I can't describe it any better except it was awesome, okay? Wow. Oh, it was so much fun. So having these mobs, that are pure armored, and you're consistently having to kite it back and forth so you don't, mess up. I don't know what to say, man. Somebody take over my commentary for me, because you're definitely going to want to have an armored killing team, but you can't do a shotgun machine gun team. And if you do, you're going to have to repair your shotguns afterwards, because you got tarantulas that you got to kite. Then you got to wait for your tea time, because you got manticores that you got to kite. And then you got to kill all the other little dudes that are just going to sit here and poke you to death. Or you're going to have dudes that are going to charge shot you and knock you out. Satan's Fairy got smart, bro. It was awesome. And so turning around and seeing something like that, by all means, I can definitely see having a meta team here, a meta team or a standard team. I would like to say a standard team here is definitely going to play into your favor. Now, if you take a look at the fairy that I'm using, it's going to be the Airstrike Fairy with this type of team, because if you ever get into the situation where you're fighting the Manticore and the poker and the charge shot boys, and then you got the little tarantulas coming through, Airstrike Fairies are going to take care of the tarantulas. Get it to level 5 and call it a day. Now you see mine's sitting at level 50, but skill level 5, by all means. Skill level 5 will take care of the tarantulas, and it'll allow you to just sit there and just knock them out. Knock out, whatever you got to fight. As far as kiting's concerned, dude, let me tell you this, and this one, I might have to charge you for this one. This is the perfect time to start learning how to kite. If you don't know what kiting is basically turning around and exploiting the way that enemies move when they're targeting you, and the way that they shoot. So, trusted gun right here. So, if an enemy is coming to you and they're walking, and then they get in range, they get at max range, they're gonna pull their gun up, they're gonna have it loaded, and then they're gonna fire. Okay, so you can actually exploit that and kite them. When they get up to max range, they're gonna pull their gun up. When you see them pull up, or they're gonna pause for a second, move backwards a little bit. So then you're gonna move your unit backwards, right? And then when you see them move up again, move them right back forwards, because now you're back into range. So then they're gonna have to pull their gun up. Then you move backwards just a little bit. Now they gotta move up. Then they're gonna do something like this. So now, do you understand how the exploitation of this maneuver right here is? Okay, so this is what you're gonna kite. This is how you're gonna learn how to kite. Okay, this is the perfect area, the perfect stage. Dude, even if you don't care about ranking, or you're bad at ranking, or you ain't got the teams, please learn to kite. This is the perfect time to kite. It's the perfect place to learn. It's literally the best playground that we are going to get until Singularity. Because look, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you right now. All right, like I said, I'm definitely going to have to charge you now. When I was watching Isomer, all right, now that's going to be an event way down into the future. We got Q+, we got Singularity, we got Continuum Turbulence, we got all these collabs, and then we're going to have Isomer. When I was watching Isomer, Lord have mercy. They were kiting like I ain't never seen before. Lord, let me tell you, I swear I was watching a game of League of Legends, because they was just kiting all day long. All right. And so please, please, please get used to kiting, because by all means, kiting is going to be a necessity. If you cannot kite, good luck. That's all I'm going to say. And if you think you want to rank, good luck. That's all I'm going to say. So by all means, this team is one of the teams I definitely believe is going to help me clear the ranking event. Like I said, I only done it once, but just what I'm assuming and theory crafting in my own head, this is going to be a team. All right, so that's going to be team 1. Team 2, I'm only going to give you 2. Team 2 is going to look something like this. All right, now I'm going to give y'all some reasoning, some thought process behind this. First off, invulnerability with Thompson, okay? You already know, I said it earlier in the podcast, Thompson, 100% invulnerability. Highly value invulnerability. Okay, So I'm a highly value invulnerability. Secondly, I didn't really use UMP9. I didn't really use Type 79, but after seeing the mobs that I was facing and how clumped they were and how they would come into waves. So you might have like wave 1 being clumped and they'd come at you really quickly. And then wave 2 would be clumped and then they'd come later on. When I saw the clumpiness of the way that the mobs were coming in waves, I was like, I would love to have my UMP9s here. I'd love to bring in Type 79. I'd love to bring in a Vector. Or, I'd love to bring in somebody like that who can give me extremely high value. Now, I was using 45, and I thought the smoke grenades were going to do good by, slowing them down, and then, give me more time to fire at them. Hell nah, them suckers are going to come at me no matter what I do. They gonna stack up, and you know what? Hey, I'm going to let them stack up. I'm going to let them do what they want to do because, look, let me tell you something. I got a little secret for them. I'm going to hit them with that stun grenade, and then we're going to knock them out. All right, so I am going to value a little bit more than usual the ability to throw stun grenades. So Type 79, UMP9, and I'm definitely going to look at Vector. I'm going to take those three, and I'm going to increase their stock in my own head because the clumpiness. AoE, man. That's where it's at. That's why I got FAL here, and that's why I talked about her a little bit earlier in the podcast as well, is because FAL has the triple grenades, man. Like I said, man, the efficiency for 0-2 might not be there, but when we got mobs clumping in the deep dive ranking, man, FAL, bro, you talking about you hit the top area of mobs and knocking out a strong portion of them, hit that bottom area of mobs, and then maybe by that time the other wave has come in, hit that third. Ooh, Lord have mercy. Hey, look, even my stomach is growling. Even the stomach is praising. Hallelujah. You see what I'm saying, dude? FAL, man, her stock has risen, and she is up there for me, man. So imagine a world where you got your invulnerability tanking. Throw that stun grenade. All right. Now everybody's just sitting there because now your invulnerability's off, and now they're all stunned, and now you got FAL. Doof, doof, doof. Ooh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, so now on top of FAL, we're gonna have two consistent damage dealers. Now, of course, I think it could change, but it really just depends on what you might be fighting, what you're going against. Man, you could look at using someone like, let's say, RFB. You could use RFB in a team comp like this because if they do got snipers, which are non-enemy, I don't know what they're called, man. I just call them what I call them. Lord have mercy, calm it down. Whether if they have, I think they're called Jaegers. It's basically the non-armored dudes that are sitting there sniping at you. Okay, and it's the third battle in 0-2. It's the third battle in 0-2. If they got them type of snipers back yonder, all right, ARs are going to hit front to back. Them sniper fellas are in the back, so they're going to chip away at you, all right? If you got RFB, that skill activates, she goes back to front. So now you got your normal ARs hitting like this, and then you got RFB hitting like this. So now it's going like this, and then they die. Let me tell you, RFB, her stock, I'm telling you, I'm so happy I got her. Her stock has risen very, very high for me. But I don't have her here because, she ain't leveled up. So, 95, 97. Consistency in the damage. You could change this up, right? But, like I said, I got the AoE. I got AoE covered, and I got the consistency covered. So, I think that a team like this might be able to do me some good. Of course, I have the Command Fairy here. Command Fairy, very, very good aura. However, the talent, the active that she has, ain't the best. So if you can somehow, get some taunt fairies, let me tell you, Lord have mercy, skill level 10 taunt fairies got to be like sex, because that shit is insane. It is insane. It's wild. The amount of time that a skill level 10 taunt fairy can tank, something else, man. shout out to the skill 10 Tom Ferry, man. I got it. Hey, huge shout out to you, the homie, man. Definitely check that out. If you can get some Tom Fairies, highly recommend it. Airstrike fairies, that's gonna do you good. I think if I'm remembering correctly, what Diablito told me either last night or 2 nights ago on stream was, parachute fairies are great early on. They can help you do what you got to do. The only thing about that is once you get later into the turns, they don't really matter anymore. And I was like, oh, I can see that. That makes a lot of sense. And so that's definitely something that, hey, you just got to you got to deal with what you got, work with what you got as far as fairies are concerned. But let me tell you, I think that these two teams have potential to do very well. Definitely the first team by all means, because them armored mobs, God bless. But this team could use a little bit of change. Maybe I'm not using 95. Maybe I don't use 97. Maybe I put in a machine gun. Maybe I put in, something. But I could see some work being put in with this squad. So now that we've talked about the teams, let's go ahead and look at the map. All right, and we also have a little notice here. So let's go ahead and start with a notice. It says, as some of you may have noticed, your final score in the ranking map, Imaginary Maze, after calculation, is usually higher than the score shown in the map. This is due to captured friendly nodes offering the following bonuses to the final score upon result settlement. Command Post, 10,000. Normal Node, 500. Heliport, 2,000. Supply Point, 10,000. Rally Point, 10,000. Please be mindful that the score a supply point offers will be reduced from 10,000 to 500 once you resupply your echelon on it. Thank you for understanding. So basically, if you played in Arctic Warfare, it's completely different. The little nodes that have like little cubes on them, you can actually resupply from those. And you don't have to be on a heliport, and you don't have to own that node. So let's say, for instance, you kill a dude there, and then you run out of ammo, but then another dude is about to fight you once you end the turn. If you're sitting on that supply node, you can actually turn around and resupply your team, but then it goes away. You can only do that once, right? So that resupply node, you can use it, but you don't want to, because now you go from 10,000 points to 500 points. You don't want to do anything like that. So being able to keep the nodes towards the end of the map is going to boost you up significantly. I think I was sitting around 300 some odd thousand points before I ended the entirety of the turn of the map. And I turn around, I end the map, and after all the little nuances of the new things that are here for this ranking event, once everything was calculated in, you can see my score, 556, 724. Now, let me tell you some things that I noticed. Now, obviously, I don't know that much about this ranking map, but let me tell you some things that I noticed and what I was told. First off, I went at this map and I was just capping everything. And then somebody goes, yo, you need to stop capping stuff, because if you do, how are you going to get mobs to spawn? And I said, oh shit. I was like, this dude's right. Like, dang, that's not good. And so, like, I stopped on capping. So be mindful of where your mobs spawn. Yes, we do have the new stuff down below that I just read, and it's in your mail. Yes, we have the new stuff, but you still gotta have to kill mobs. That, of course, that's a given, right? I forgot that because of the new stuff, and I was like, yo, if I can cap a bunch of things, maybe I can get, a decent score. I don't know what people are doing to get these high scores, but let me just do it my way. So that's the first thing that I noticed. Second thing, when you get onto the map, look for the supply line. I think it was like until turn 3 that I got my supply line hooked up to my command post. Take your time and look for your supply line and go cap that sucker immediately. All right? That's the first thing that you just got to do. Okay? Excuse me. So take a look at your supply line, knock that out. Second thing, or well, I guess this is third, the Jupiters. Uh, I was trying to surround the Jupiters, but if you take a look at it, the Jupiters have nodes that mobs can potentially spawn from. I think. Okay, I don't know 100% sure, but I think. So you can actually get mobs to spawn from there. Problem being is that if you fight the Jupiter, it's going to be extremely tough. If you surround it, you instantly lose the potential spawn points of enemies. What I was told is take the hit. Just take the hit. Go in there, take the hit, kill the dude, and let them start giving you mobs, because I think it's like 200 points for a repair, and I think it's like 3,000 points for killing the Jupiter. So if you kill a Jupiter that has 3,000 points, and then you have to repair, let's say, 400 points, you still net 2,600. Okay, so that's still really good. But take the hit. That's what I was told. Next, when you fight the bosses, don't be afraid to reset. And please, please do not send machine guns or rifles at them. I, you know, I ain't gonna say who did that, but yeah, just don't do that. I ain't saying it was me. You know, I know a dude, but hey, just don't do it. Okay. Secondly, or whatever point I'm on next, your supply line changes. I think it was like turn 6 and turn 11 is when your supply line changes. Be wary of that. Make sure you know where it's going to change. Make sure you can get to there as quickly as possible. You know, things of that nature. And cap that sucker, man. Do not let it get out. Don't let it out your sight. Next is, man, as far as the supply thing, you know, like I said, turn 6 and 11, do not underestimate these mobs. All right, when you get later into the fights, or into the turns, excuse me, you know, turn 1 to 6 relatively easy. Turn 6 to let's say 10, relatively easy. Turn 10 to 15, do not underestimate them. I am dead ass serious, dude. I'm talking about, dude. Whew, oh, you talking about huge waves of non-armored mobs. And see, here's the thing. Let me tell you this. I didn't know that. Okay, so if you have tarantulas, which are the armored little dogs, not the boss dog, the armored little dogs. Let's say you have the armored ones. I don't know what the non-armored ones are called. I'm gonna just call them little doggos. The little doggos, you could kill them very easily. I did not know they do that much damage, dude. Uh, let me look. Hey, do not look for one commander to another. Do not underestimate these mobs once they get to late game, because they will do so much work. Especially if you got a machine gun team going into it and they got tea time. They will devour your shotguns. Dude, man, the difficulty of the mobs just scales insanely hard. It's insane. And you know, speaking for myself, this was probably it is the most fun thing that I've played in Girls Frontline, dude. The randomness of the mobs. So you could turn around and get a team of manticores and, like, you know, some pokers and like some charge boys. You could have a team like that and it just like it was super easy. And you could have like that same exact setup, but now you have you have tarantulas, the armored ones, and then you have 2 waves of it, and now you're like, wait a second, what? And I mean, I found myself resetting on normal fights. They weren't bosses, man, and I'm like, bro, this is awesome. So do not underestimate these mobs once you get to the later portions of the ranking map, bro. It is just, it is fun, man. And so, like I said, I can't give you, fantastic tips as far as like, oh, use this team comp, or, make sure you cap this, or these are where the mobs spawn. I can't give you any of that, man. But I can give you some, what should be pretty obvious advice, Captain Obvious advice, and tell you, hey, this is just what it do, man. Like, it might be things that or that's obvious, but I gotta reiterate it because I thought it was obvious going into it for myself, and I turn around, I forgot all of them things. So by all means, man, just be careful of the later game units. The last thing that I want to mention, I don't know the thresholds, but you have a certain amount of thresholds. So I think, like, I don't know if these are the correct numbers. Let's say you get to 10 kills and then a boss spawns. Okay, then let's say the next one is like 15. I don't know what the right or correct thresholds are. You'll have to check that out somewhere else, or ask on the Discord, or ask me later, and then I can get that information and give it to you. But there's a threshold. So let's say you kill 10 mobs and then a boss spawns. Well, let's say the second threshold is 15. Okay, well, if you start off the turn with 9 kills and then you get 16 kills, only one of the bosses spawn, and I think it's the 15th threshold. So you miss out on the 10 threshold boss, and that's points. You ain't trying to miss out on that. That's gonna be my final tip, or my final like little piece of advice, whatever. As far as like team comps go, dude, I'm still trying to figure that shit out myself. As far as kiting goes, good luck, man. Please use Deep Dive as a playground to learn and understand how to kite. Please, that I cannot stress that enough. And dude, last but not least, man, just have fun with it, bro. Just have fun with it. Who cares about your score, dude? I'm telling you, it's addictive. Having so many different types of mobs coming at you from different angles, and you got to think about everything. Even if you just go in there just killing everything, dude, just because you want to use different team comps and try different team comps, this is literally the place to try and theory craft and kite and do whatever you want to do. This is the map to do it on, is the ranking map. It is so much fun. It's addictive, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm kind of glad that they ain't doing this every single month. Because if they released maps like this every single month, I would, boy, I bet my eyes are wide open right now, because I'm telling you, it is just, you just got to try it for yourself, man. It is amazing. It is so much fun. So definitely try it out. Have fun with it. Enjoy it while it's here, because it'll be gone in about 2 weeks or so. So by all means, please play this map. Have fun with it and enjoy it. So the close to last thing that I do want to talk about is going to be comparing the Deep Dive ranking map to the Arctic Warfare ranking map. Now, taking a look at the rewards for Arctic Warfare compared to the rewards for Deep Dive. Deep Dive's reward is significantly better. It is just like, it's for 9A91, okay, for Deep Dive. Whereas, like, I think Arctic Warfare was AK-47 and Type 56-1, maybe? I think. Basically, I don't even remember who they are, so they're basically useless, right? At this point in time, they might get mods later. But those scopes were like, bro, why? I don't need them. Okay. On top of Arctic Warfare's lackluster rewards, the map, bro, the map was so, like, it was 20 turns, but after you got to, like, let's say turn 9 or turn 8, and you cleared, all your clogs, you would just literally be doing the same thing. Okay, these are going to kill here, you're going to kill here, you're going to kill here, you're going to kill these, and then now I'm going to come back I'm gonna resupply when when the nodes open up, and then we're just gonna repeat and rinse and repeat. Okay. But the problem with that is yes, that maybe that's what you do in deep dive. I've only ran it once. Maybe that's what you're doing in deep dive again. However, the mob selection over there was literally just, you know, it was just so, it was just slapdick, bro. Like, they weren't, you know, super difficult. Now, of course, you know, I'm gonna rag on it a little bit. It was our first, you know, ranking event, of course. But I think they could have spiced it up a little bit. I think they could have done it a little bit better. And on top of that, the RNG from that ranking event was so god awful. I am not going to talk about it. Just know that it was god awful. With this ranking event for deep dive, the way that they have it set up, I would like to assume that it has significantly excuse me, significantly less RNG. I could be wrong. Like I said, I've done it once. But with the way that they've added the little notice of like, hey, you cap these and you get the supply points from these nodes and you get points from the nodes, things of that nature. I think maybe it might be less RNG based. If anything, let me tell you this, it's got to be. There's no way that it's not less RNG based compared to Arctic Warfare. Even if it's by the skin of your teeth, it's got to be less than Arctic Warfare, because it's just, I don't see how it's not. I just don't, man. And so it's one of them things that it's just like, bro, looking at Arctic Warfare and looking at Deep Dive, as far as their ranking maps, Deep Dive is just so significantly better, man. Now, I don't think anybody was expecting to get the change of ranking map styles. The system that we have in Deep Dive right now is the system that was introduced in Isomer, and they said that, yo, this is as intended. And so, you know, we can poke fun and we can say, hey, you know, they probably were, you know, it's probably a mistake, but they're just saying it's as we can say anything. But look, at the end of the day, it gives us I would like to assume, a less RNG based map, because the nodes are going to stay where they are. We all get the same nodes. And so I think that this is definitely a lot better, a lot cleaner. At least it feels that way compared to Arctic Warfare. Also, on top of that, Arctic Warfare ranking, I did not want to do more than X amount of time. Paranoia and nervousness and, you know, just being scared of the ranking map put aside, it wasn't really fun, man. Like, now that I've seen this ranking map, like, Arctic Warfare was fun. And then Deep Dive's ranking map hit, and it made Arctic Warfare look like trash. Like, dude, Deep Dive's ranking is just insanely good, okay? I honestly do not see a way in which Deep Dive is outclassed by Arctic Warfare. And the only thing that I could think of is story, is if you put it story based. If you said, hey, with Arctic Warfare, you know, I think it was, you know, you had some 404 members, or excuse me, you had some AR anti-rain members. Oh no, hey, don't flame me. I think it's the AR squad. I think you had some AR team members in that story. And then in this story, it's more around the 404 members, of course, 45 and 40. Around some 404 members, okay? So, I mean, you know, style, you know, depending on what team you like better, you know, 404 is cool, but I like the main team better. That's just me. So, you know, if it's not story, dude, ranking map, definitely Deep Dive. As far as the story maps are concerned, definitely gonna be Deep Dive. And then as far as, you know, the just overall fun and difficulty of the two, and the dailies included, gotta go with Deep Dive, man. It's just an overall better, higher quality, more fun ranking, more fun story. It's just overall better, man. And, you know, if you didn't get a chance to play Arctic Warfare, I think the Arctic Warfare Plus should be a thing in the future, which is basically the ranking map on steroids. But this was just, man, play it, bro. If you get a chance, play it. It was incredibly fun. I can't, I can go on and on, man. This event was just fantastic. Love it to pieces. And, I'm gonna be honest with you, that's all I got for this, man. It was deep dive. I didn't expect to go this long talking about deep dive and comparing it. I was looking at relatively shorter one, but this event, this everything about it is just very, very fun. I love it to death. Let me know what y'all think about it. Well, guys, that is going to be it for episode 7 of Shikikan Frontline. If you saw this live, it was live at twitch.tv/Tuglow. I do start around 10:30 p.m. Central Time, and then I go into the early mornings. If you're catching this on YouTube, please feel free to subscribe to the channel for more GFL content. And last but not least, if you have Amazon Prime and you'd like to support your boy monetarily for free, please subscribe at twitch.tv/Tuglow with your Amazon Prime and your Twitch Prime, and that will help me out very, very, very much so. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will catch y'all in the next podcast. Much love, God bless, and peace out.